There was a time when watching television wasn't something you did alone on your phone or laptop. It wasn't something you paused whenever you wanted or binged through in a weekend. Television was an event. The whole family gathered in the living room. Dad sat in his chair. Mom on the couch, maybe folding laundry or mending something. Kids sprawled on the floor, close enough to the screen that someone always said, "Move back, you'll hurt your eyes." The room smelled like popcorn, or whatever Mom had cooked for dinner earlier. The lamp in the corner glowed softly. And when that theme song started, whichever show it was that night, everyone stopped talking and watched. Together. If you grew up in the 1950s, 60s, or even the early 70s, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those TV shows weren't just entertainment. They were rituals. They were the thing that brought everyone to the same place at the same time, no matter how busy the day had been. Today, on a Merry Retro, we're going back to those living rooms. Back to those nights when the whole family sat together and laughed at the same jokes, gasped at the same moments, and felt connected to something bigger than just the four walls around them. These are the classic family TV shows we watched together, and they meant more than you might remember. Let's start with I Love Lucy, Monday nights at 9 o'clock. Lucy Ricardo got into trouble, and the whole country watched. Everybody knew the premise. Lucy was married to Ricky, a Cuban band leader. She was always scheming, trying to break into show business, trying to prove something. And it always backfired. The chocolate factory. The Vitamea Vegamin commercial. Stomping grapes in Italy. These moments made you howl. Kids doubled over on the carpet. Fathers slapped their knees. Mothers laughed so hard they wiped their eyes. But here's what made I Love Lucy special. It showed a real marriage, not perfect. Ricky got frustrated. Lucy pushed boundaries. They argued, they made up. And week after week, you believed they loved each other. After the show ended, the house felt lighter. Like whatever tension had built up during the day had been released, 30 minutes at a time. Sunday nights belonged to the Ed Sullivan Show, 8 o'clock. Ed Sullivan walked onto that stage, stiff as a board, and said, "Tonight we have a really big show." And he wasn't lying. One week it was Elvis, hips swiveling, teenagers mesmerized. Another week, the Beatles, and your older sister screamed at the television like they could hear her. But it wasn't just music. Jugglers, comedians, ventriloquists, opera singers, something for everyone. Your grandfather sat through rock and roll because afterward there'd be a comedian he liked. Your little brother waited through opera for the dog act. The Ed Sullivan Show taught families how to share space, how to sit through something that wasn't for you because someone else loved it. And when something special happened, Elvis, the Beatles, you knew you were part of history. Years later, people would ask, "Did you see that?" And you'd smile and say, "Yeah, I was there." Even if there was just your living room. If your family wanted something gentle, you watched Leave It to Beaver. The Cleaver family wasn't real. Everyone knew that. No family was that perfect. But that wasn't the point. The point was watching Beaver get into small trouble, breaking a window, getting tricked by Eddie Haskell, and watching his parents handle it with kindness. Ward Cleaver never yelled. He sat Beaver down and talked, explained, listened. June always looked put together, always had dinner ready, always knew the right thing to say. Watching Leave It to Beaver made you feel hopeful. Like maybe, with patience and love, things could work out. Kids watched Beaver and saw themselves. Parents watched Ward and June and saw who they wanted to be. And sometimes your own dad would ruffle your hair afterward and say something Beaver's dad might have said. And for a moment, your house felt a little like Mayberry. Speaking of Mayberry, The Andy Griffith Show was pure comfort. Monday nights. Andy Taylor, sheriff of a small town where nothing truly bad ever happened. His son Opie, Aunt Bee, Barney Fife, the lovable deputy who took himself too seriously. The show moved slow. No rush, no danger, just life in a small town where people knew each other and helped each other. Sometimes the whole episode was about Opie learning honesty. Sometimes it was Andy calming Barney down. Sometimes it was just Aunt Bee baking a pie. And that was enough. The Andy Griffith Show gave families peace. A reminder that life didn't have to be complicated. That simple kindness could solve most problems. When the show ended and that whistling theme song played, you felt like you'd visited a place where everything was okay. For families who liked westerns, there was Bonanza, Sunday Nights, The Ponderosa. Ben Cartwright and his 3 sons, Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe, running a ranch, solving problems, standing up for what was right. Bonanza had action, horses galloping, fist fights, but it also had heart. The episodes were about family, about loyalty, about doing the right thing even when it was hard. Fathers watched Ben Cartwright and saw strength. Kids loved the adventure and horses. And when the Cartwrights gathered around their table at the end of an episode, it felt familiar, like your own family, like home. Gunsmoke was grittier, more serious. Saturday Nights, Marshal Matt Dillon keeping order in Dodge City, Doc Adams, Miss Kitty, Chester, later Festus. Gunsmoke didn't sugarcoat the West. People died. Justice wasn't always clean. Matt Dillon got hurt, made mistakes, carried the weight of hard decisions. But he always tried to do right. Families watched because it felt real. It showed that good people sometimes had to make tough choices, that the world wasn't black and white. And sitting together, watching Matt Dillon face danger week after week, you felt a little braver. The Honeymooners was loud, funny, and honest. Ralph Cramden, a bus driver with big dreams. His wife Alice, sharp-tongued and patient. Their friends Ed and Trixie Norton upstairs. Ralph was always scheming. Always convinced his next idea would make him rich. And Alice was always there, arms crossed, eyebrow raised, ready to bring him back to earth. One of these days, Alice, pow, right in the kisser. He never meant it, she knew it, and beneath all the yelling, you could see how much they loved each other. The Honeymooners showed working-class life. Small apartments, tight budgets, dreams that didn't always come true. But also resilience, humor, partnership. Families recognized something true. That love wasn't about perfection. It was about showing up, even when things were hard. And then there was Father Knows Best, the Anderson family. Jim, the calm, wise father. Margaret, the patient, graceful mother. 3 kids navigating school, friendships, growing up. Every episode, someone had a problem. And by the end, Jim Anderson, patient, thoughtful, never condescending, helped them figure it out. The show wasn't flashy. It was quiet, gentle. But it showed something families needed to see. That parents didn't have to be perfect. They just had to care, to listen, to try. And kids didn't have to be perfect either. They just had to be willing to learn. Watching Father Knows Best felt like being reminded that your family, with all its messiness and misunderstandings, was still good, still worth it. So what made these shows special? It wasn't the plots, it wasn't the actors, though they were wonderful. It was the ritual, the gathering, the fact that for 30 minutes or an hour, everyone stopped what they were doing and sat together. No phones, no distractions, just the soft glow of the TV and the people you loved most, all in the same room, experiencing the same thing. You laughed together, gasped together, Sometimes, if the episode was especially moving, you cried together. And when the show ended, you talked about it, quoted lines, debated what would happen next week, looked forward to it. Television didn't divide families then. It united them. Today, we can watch anything, anytime, anywhere. Thousands of shows, endless options. But we've lost something in the process. We've lost the waiting, the anticipation, the shared experience of everyone tuning in at the same time. We've lost the ritual of gathering. And maybe, just maybe, that's why those old shows still feel so special, not because they were better, but because of what they represented. A time when families came together, when sitting in the same room mattered. When a TV show wasn't just entertainment, it was connection. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What was your family's show? The one everyone watched together? The one that, even now, brings back the feeling of sitting in that living room, surrounded by the people you loved? Share your memory in the comments. Because these stories matter. And someone reading yours might smile, remembering their own. If this brought something back for you, make sure to like this video and subscribe to A Merry Retro. This channel is about the rituals, the moments, and the memories that held us together. And we're keeping them alive together. Thank you for watching with me.